Hey everybody, we are back in the garage. I haven't been doing a very good job of recording some of my progress, but I will walk you through some of it today, and then on Saturday during the daylight I will walk you around the rest of it. Been super busy working hard the last couple of weeks, nothing too extraordinarily exciting until tonight. So let's have a look here. All right, so I decided to strip down the square body chassis, and I have the Studebaker set on it. So, see if I can get backed up here a little bit. Got junk everywhere, I can hardly move in here. But as we can see, I need to move the cab forward 3 or 4 inches. I haven't actually measured it. The square body came with the 350 Turbo 400 combo. These Mickey Thompson valve covers are pretty tall. Had I had stock valve covers, I might have got it to fit ahead just a little bit, but the distributor's still pretty tight. I had to take in the cap and rotor off to make sure that it would move forward. This obviously is not the engine that's staying in here. But I found out some really neat stuff. Number one, I don't know if we can see down in here, but the stock Studebaker cab brace fits almost perfectly on top of the stock square body mount. When I come ahead 3 or 4 inches, I'll be on the other side of it, but I cut off these mid mounts from the crew cab, and they are offset just about perfect to line up with the holes in the floor. So I'll cut the other mounts off, and then I'll move these to where I need them, and we will bolt them back together. Height wise, I have to lift up the back. I have to build a brace back of the cab up a little bit. I don't think I want to go any lower with the cab because I do want to slam this truck, and I still need room for my side steps that I want to keep. So as it is, I don't have a lot of room for that, and I want the frame to sit about 1.5 inches off the floor when I'm done. That's not a this year project, but that's what we're planning for. So this is the crew cab, and I managed to slide it back using a combination of my engine stand, my fancy cab lifting apparatus, a bunch of extra weights, and my floor winch with a snatch block. So I looped around this spare tire cross member here, and then I pulled on the leg of the crane back far enough to get this set up on here. Found out some other neat stuff. So we're more or less wedged right up against the transmission. We're gonna use the square body steering column, throttle pedal, and hydro boost for the brakes. So I've got all the brackets and stuff off of the square body cab, and we're gonna make that all work in here. This radiator is gonna go, the radiator from the second Studebaker is in really good shape. And I have to use the rad support for it, the rad shell, to mount the fenders and everything anyways. So I'm going to attempt to use the original radiator with the 12 valve. And if it doesn't have enough cooling capacity, then I will add a second radiator with a booster pump underneath somewhere in the back here. I'm already gonna run another auxiliary transmission cooler so that I don't have to pipe that up to the front. And I'll probably end up with a really small intercooler because I just don't have a lot of room out there. Other interesting news, the Studebaker 2-ton frame is the exact same dimensions, both width and height and depth of the stock square body rails, frame rails. However, it's thicker metal. So my plan is to extend the frame from here back with the straight section frame rails from the 2-ton. And it does have a kick up at the back, but it's not as bad. And the square body chassis kicks up and over the axle and then back down again here. I want them to go straight out, and the axle assembly is actually going to be behind the frame rail over here. We're going to do airbags, semi-style airbags in the back, and whatever they make for a stock C30 in the front with drop spindles. So I should actually get quite a bit of low out of that. I've picked out my wheels, which will be a surprise for another time. But anyways, that's where we're at. All right, so been real busy. Say hello to my cat. This is Selena. Got both of the trucks stripped down. The second truck is this front end, and it is in really, really good shape. So this is the front end we'll be using. The matching hood from that front end is pretty rough. That's rusty at the bottom corners, but it has the stock factory hood emblem on it, and the Studebaker emblem on the front here is in a little bit better shape too. Oh, this one, sorry. So this is the one that came on the new truck. Nice hood and ornament. It's not all beat up. So my original hood is a little bit worse here, but it's not as rusty down in the bottom corners as this one. So back here in the back of the 12 valve truck, there's Kat again. She loves to explore. We have the small block from the square body, which I took out yesterday. I'm sure there's a million videos on YouTube about taking small blocks out of pickup trucks. So this one's gonna get taken apart, and we're gonna put it in our ski boat. My buddy's got a rollarized long block, small block Chevy, and the one in the boat's been overheated a bunch of times. So we're gonna do some motor work on that. So here's the second cab. This door works flawlessly. The driver's window over there is in good shape. So is the vent window. And here is the blue cab. So what I'm gonna do is I'll eventually put this up for sale because it's got a decent window frame in it, but the roof is kind of rough and the whole back half is rotted out. So I'm gonna chop it over the top and down here, and we're gonna use this as a mock-up template for fitting the 12 valve. So I'll do a nice big wide cut that'll be easy to weld back in, clear for what I think will be enough room for the valve covers and the width of the engine. And then I'm going to do a cardboard template once we drop the spare 12 valve into the square body chassis. And that way I can not hack and hack and hack at the good cab that's in the garage to fit it. And I don't want to wreck that other new cab either. So we got this square body crew cab off yesterday, set out here in the yard. Front clip, the box. There's a guy coming all the way down from up north somewhere to come and get this box. And let me know in the comments if you know of anybody that wants this stock oil filter from the Studebaker. I'll take that off, clean it up, and the carburetor as well. The carburetor's got good choke linkage, which the other one I had was broken. I also have one of these if anybody's looking to rebuild a stock fuel filter assembly. And then I've decided, I might have mentioned it in my other video, this frame rail section is the exact same size and width as the Studebaker one. So, or as the Chevy one. So I'm going to use the back half of this frame in my build. At some point right around here it starts to narrow down. So I'll probably cut that up today. All right. The doors and fender liners and stuff. All right, so here's the view in the garage today. The square body chassis. It's got a new pump or a new steering gear on it, so that's nice. We'll be changing some of the other suspension components to new stuff while we have it apart. I did have this other cab set on with the small block in there, but it wasn't far enough forward to sit on top of the center line of the front axle. So plan first thing here is to hook onto this cab, set it back on here, and hang a fender and see if we can't get some marks on the frame rails there where this cab needs to sit. I'll dig out, and then I'll push this outside and I'll dig out that 12 valve that's underneath there. The massive cylinder heads in the back seat of the Dodge. There's a bunch of valve covers there and the transmission adapter plate. So we'll fit all that up and then we'll see how far out everything is. I've ordered the square body Cummins adapter mounts, but we may be moving some things around. So we'll see if we can do a sort of a dry fit today of the cab and front clip. And then once I've got that dry fitted, I'll push this outside and see if I can wrangle the blue cab in here to chop it up and use that once I know where the engine or the cab mounts are gonna go. So they're pretty close, but I know I gotta come about 3 inches forward to mount the cab. So we'll chop the exhaust out of here. I'm gonna leave the drive shaft for now. I'll be using this front section. Drive shaft is pretty small, but that's a little bit better. So I'll be mating probably at that U-joint. I'll get a conversion U-joint for the Dodge drive shaft and then shorten the front section up however it needs to be. But I'll bet you that transmission will probably end right about here. So we're gonna be cutting quite a bit out of this. I will be extending the frame at some point. I'm just not sure if I'm willing to do it right now, but we'll find out. And I'll get new fuel tanks, so I don't have to worry about contamination with diesel and everything. And I'll set up the GoPro up here, and you guys can follow along with that. All right, first test fit on the square body chassis is going well. I'm going to come up about an inch on the cab when I build on the front of the cab, when I build the cab mounts, just so I can pull it forward ever so slightly more. I've got a clearancing issue between, there's a tension rod that runs from here back to the cross member down here, and that provides support for this outside corner for the bumper, and I have no clearance there. But if I can get another inch forward, so you can see right there the cab floor is touching the frame, but if I can go up an inch and forward another half inch or whatever, that should give me enough clearance. And then this cross member, I'm not sure if it's going to be able to stay. They say that for the two-wheel drive square body chassis, you've got to notch this for the oil pan for the 12 valve to fit, and things are going to be real tight under here. So next step, I got to put the grill shell in right here and see where it lands, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be down inside of here, but the radiator has a kick that comes up like that. So hopefully it clears this cross member, and then I can just bolt the center rad support frame to a new cross member across the bottom, and that'll support the front. Factory, it was mounted just flat with one stud in the middle, but I'm going to put two studs, one on either side of the grill shell, and put them on nicer isolators rather than just a flat piece of rubber. But overall, not too shabby. I'm pushing the limits on centering the wheel in the wheel well. It used to be really far forward, now it's back just slightly. So moving the cab this way or that way is going to be a challenge. I do have a gap here still that I need to make up, so I can push the front clip back another half an inch, hopefully to take care of it. And this will be lowered, and if I'm not mistaken, these, when you lower them, they get quite a bit of caster change, so the wheel might rotate forward, and I might have to well, I'll have to get alignment anyways, but there'll be a lot of shims happening. I may relocate the upper control arm to a more pleasant place, because it's going to get 3-inch drop spindles, which will help, and it's gonna get airbags. So the upper control arm may get moved up on this bracket to help compensate for that change underneath. And I could push it out a little bit and add a little bit of width too, but we'll see how it goes. I got the rims picked out that I want, and they're gonna be pretty sweet, and they're gonna be very aggressive. So if these are sunken in, the new wheels should be close to flush on the front. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can get this to set nice on the front of the truck, and then I'm gonna push this outside. I got a friend coming to help me move the blue cab onto this frame so I can get it off in the garage. So we're gonna do some tidy up. All right, everybody. we got that sitting on the frame pretty well perfect. Put a piece of angle iron tack welded across the front of the frame for the rad support to sit on. And the wheel is centered nicely in the rad support. Body lines line up half decent. I'll be using the other clip. That bit will all be different. This is the hood I'm using. Using this door and the door from that cab over there for the other side. As you can see, I'm gonna have to build a little bit of a taller rear cab mount. So now what we're gonna do is transfer this cab over to this chassis so that I can get it in the garage and cut it up. And then use this one to mock up the engine. You can see my sweet setup for moving stuff around in the yard. Props to my buddy Josh for parking all of his quads at my house. Makes my life a lot easier.